Okay, so have you ever truly, like, paused to consider how short life actually is?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean in a downer kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
but more just reflecting on how all that time is being spent.
Right. It's something we kind of know intellectually, isn't it? But actually facing it day to day,
Yeah.
that's different. We get so caught up in just doing things.
Exactly. And that gap, that's what this deep dive is really about. The wisdom of spending our time intentionally, precisely because it's limited.
Yeah, and we're looking at this YouTube transcript today that tackles this exact thing. It really challenges that default mode of just reacting.
Pushing us towards consciously choosing how we use what it calls our most valuable resource.
Absolutely.
So our goal here, our mission, is to unpack the source, pull out those key insights, those little nuggets that might genuinely help you think differently about your time. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. So the foundation, the starting point in this source, and it's worth really sitting with this for a second,
Okay.
is that time isn't just a valuable thing, it's the most valuable thing you have, period.
Right, because unlike money or, I don't know, opportunities you miss,
Which you might get back, yeah.
time, once it's gone, it's just gone
Yeah.
forever.
It completely reframes it. Thinking of time less like a river just flowing past and more like,
Raw.
well, like a currency, a finite amount you get to spend.
Every moment spent is like writing a sentence in your life story.
Exactly. And that immediately brings up the big question, doesn't it? Is the story you're writing one where you feel, alive, focused, proud, maybe?
Or is it just pages turning,
Yeah.
day after day, kind of aimlessly?
Which leads right into this idea of autopilot. The source talks a lot about this trap.
Oh, yeah, we all know that rhythm. Wake up, phone, work or school, eat something quickly, scroll.
Scroll, scroll, scroll.
Sleep, repeat, yeah.
And autopilot isn't necessarily about being lazy, the source points out. It's more about not choosing. You're reacting, not directing.
Right, just responding to whatever pops up, emails, notifications, what everyone else is doing.
And the really scary part, the insight here, is how easily that happens. It's not just minutes. It can be weeks, months.
Years. Even years can just blur by if you're not paying attention without any real intention behind it.
So this idea of wise living, according to the source, is basically stepping out of that autopilot.
Taking the wheel back.
Yeah, reclaiming your agency, asking yourself, okay, this life is short. How do I actually want to spend these moments I have?
And one of the first big areas where this choice really matters is, well, who you spend that time with.
Absolutely. The source goes deeper than just choose good friends. It asks why. It makes you look at the people around you and really think.
Do they lift you up, make you feel understood, inspired,
Or do they drain you, bring negativity? Do they just kind of not get who you're trying to be?
And the point they make is that choosing to be around kind, supportive, thoughtful people, it's not just nice, it fundamentally changes how you experience your time.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And the flip side of that, the tough part, is realizing that life is too short to keep pouring energy into people who just don't care about your growth or happiness.
It makes choosing your circle feel less like just a social thing and more like a really crucial decision about how you're spending that life currency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so building on choices. The source brings up another really key idea. Simple sounding, but hard in practice. The power of yes and no.
Right. And the insight isn't just what they mean, but how they're linked. Every single time you say yes to something.
You're automatically saying no to something else.
Exactly. Yes to overtime means no to family dinner, maybe. Yes to scrolling means no to reading that book or going for a walk. It's always a trade-off.
And we say yes so easily, don't we? To please people or avoid awkwardness or just because it's the default.
Inertia, yeah. But the source argues that wise living means learning to say yes with intention. Really asking, is this yes worth the no it creates?
Which naturally leads to that other word, no.
That tiny, powerful word. So many people struggle with it. It feels rude or selfish sometimes.
But the source reframes it. Saying no isn't about being difficult. It's actually about protecting your time, your energy, your boundaries.
It creates the space you need for the things you've decided are truly worth saying yes to.
I like the analogy they used, time like a garden.
Oh, yeah, the garden analogy. If you just let everything in random requests, distractions, it fills up with weeds.
Saying no is like weeding the garden.
Mm-hmm. It makes room for the flowers, the stuff you actually care about, to grow.
Okay, so related to saying yes or no now, there's another trap the source highlights. Waiting.
Ah, yes.
Waiting for the perfect time.
Right, waiting until you have more money or more free time or until things calm down. To travel, start that hobby, tell someone how you feel.
And the tough truth the source presents is, well, that perfect time. It usually doesn't come.
Life just doesn't work that way, does it? It's always messy.
Pretty much. So the insight is sometimes you just have to start. Start messy, start scared, start small, but just start. Because the warning is pretty stark.
Yeah.
If you wait too long for perfect conditions, life might just pass you by while you're waiting.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of things that eat up time while we're maybe waiting or just on autopilot, distractions.
Oh, the big one. Social media, endless scrolling, notifications dinging.
Clickbait, random videos, they're everywhere.
And the source gets it. They feel fun or engaging in the moment. But the real point is the cost.
Right. How many hours just vanish without much real return in terms of, meaning or connection or growth?
And the question it makes you ask is pretty revealing. Look back at your week. What do you actually remember? The blur of scrolling.
Or that walk you took with a friend? Or finishing that chapter? Or just some quiet time thinking?
That contrast really brings it home again.
Sure.
Wise time is intentional time. Time you chose how to spend rather than time that just happened to you.
Which leads us to maybe the biggest question of all. If you're going to be intentional, what are you being intentional about? What actually matters to you?
And they stress this isn't just like a philosophical question. It's practical. What do you love doing? What makes you feel calm or excited or proud?
Is it learning, building things, helping people, family time? It's unique for everyone.
Totally. There's no right answer.
But the key insight, the really profound bit, is that most people never actually sit down and seriously ask themselves this.
They don't get clear on their own values, their own priorities.
And without knowing what truly matters to you, how can you possibly make intentional choices? Knowing your what is like having a compass. It helps you decide what gets a yes and what needs a no.
And so many people answer, how are you with busy? Like, it's a good thing.
Right, like a badge of honor. This pressure to be constantly productive, doing everything.
But the source throws some cold water on that.
Yeah.
Being busy is not the same as living wisely.
In fact, they often conflict. That constant busyness trying to juggle everything.
It just leads to stress, feeling scattered, burnout eventually.
Exactly. The insight isn't about doing more. It's about doing more of what matters. Focusing your energy.
So it's less about being productive in general and more about being purposeful.
Purposeful, yeah. And purposeful time can look like many things. It could be focused work, sure. But it could also be learning Spanish or meditating or really listening to your kid or just resting or laughing.
And the feeling is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Purposeful time tends to leave you feeling fuller, energized, maybe.
Whereas just being busy often just wears you down, leaves you feeling empty.
Okay, so how do we make time feel more meaningful? Even the small stuff. The source mentioned gratitude.
Yeah, a really simple, powerful practice. Not about ignoring the bad stuff, but consciously noticing and appreciating the good little things.
Like your morning coffee or someone holding the door, the sun coming out.
Exactly. And the insight isn't that gratitude magically creates more time. It changes how you experience the time you have.
Makes those moments feel richer somehow.
Yeah.
More present.
Definitely. The source also makes a distinction between just being active and actual growth.
Oh, that's interesting. Activity versus growth.
Yeah. Are your days just filled with, motion? Or are you actually learning something, stretching yourself, becoming more?
Growth often feels a bit uncomfortable, doesn't it? Pushing boundaries.
It does, but the source suggests that's where time really gains value. Asking yourself, am I learning? Am I improving? Is this moving me towards who I want to be?
Those are good filter questions for how you spend your time. Investing in growth, even if it's hard, makes that time feel more significant later on.
And speaking of significance, the source comes back really strongly to people, prioritizing relationships.
Right. Friends, family, partners, often cited as the deepest source of meaning.
And the emphasis is on spending actual time on those relationships, not just fitting them in the cracks around tasks, really investing that time currency.
It's that nudge, isn't it? Make the call. Share the story. Say, I love you. Don't leave important things unsaid.
Those moments of connection, they build the real foundation.
And the source ties all this together really nicely with this idea about daily habits. The way you spend your days.
Is the way you spend your life. Ultimate.
It sounds a bit heavy, but it's actually meant to be empowering, I think. Like that analogy of each day being a brick.
Yeah, a brick in the wall of your life. And the habits you have, are they good, strong bricks, like reading or moving your body?
Or are they kind of crumbly bricks, like mindless scrolling or complaining?
And day by day, brick by brick, those habits build the structure of your life. But the hopeful part
You
is,
can always start laying different bricks,
exactly, even if you don't like the wall you've built so far, today you can choose a better brick.
which flows right into learning from regret. The source points out common regrets often aren't about failures.
No, it's usually about the chances not taken, the things left unsaid or undone, time wasted, staying stuck.
Regret can feel awful, but the source frames it as a potential teacher.
Right. It can show you what you really value, maybe give you the push to finally do the thing you've been avoiding.
And maybe the most powerful, hopeful message from the source is this: every single day is a new start.
Yeah. You don't have to wait for Monday or January 1st.
The chance to choose differently, to start a new habit, to change your mindset about time, it's right here, right now, today.
That final thought is so simple, but huge. Even if yesterday felt like a total write-off.
Today is still yours, unspoiled.
Don't waste today, too. The choice is yours.
And looking forward, thinking about when you're older, looking back, what memories do you actually want to have?
That's the question the source leaves you with.
Do you want memories of deep talks, creative projects, taking risks, moments of real connection, kindness?
Or just a blur of to-do lists and notifications.
The ultimate takeaway seems to be that the memories you'll have are being created or not right now by the choices you make today.
That choice is absolutely yours.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big ideas from this source. It started with recognizing time is irreplaceable, our most valuable currency.
Yeah, and the need to step off autopilot, make conscious choices about who we spend time with, and learning the power of intentional yes and protective no.
We talked about avoiding the perfect time trap, battling distractions, and the absolute necessity of figuring out what truly matters to you.
And that crucial reframe, busy isn't wise. Purposeful time is what counts, whether that's work, rest, learning, or connecting.
Plus, the simple power of gratitude to deepen experience, the value of growth over mere activity, and prioritizing people.
Remembering that daily habits build our lives brick by brick, learning from regret, and embracing the fact that every day is a new beginning.
And finally, consciously creating the memories you want to look back on.
Life is short, no doubt.
Hmm.
But this source really drives home that it can be incredibly rich and meaningful if we approach it with intention.
Use your time like it matters because, well, it does. Laugh, learn, be kind, love fully.
And remember, it's often those small moments, the ones you choose intentionally and really appreciate, that add up to a life that feels truly well lived.
So, here's the final thought to leave you with. What intentional moment will you choose to create today?